Let's talk about the kind of detail level stuff that a lot of people want to know, which is what systems you're using, how you're getting clients, and let's just lay a little foundation here. What are your current, how many clients on average are you serving each month right now? And then what are your goals for the year?
Right now, I am serving about 12. And my goals increase per month. With my coach and I worked together at the end of 2020 to put together a cash flow forecast. Mm-hmm. And so by the end of the year, so the numbers, of course, increase, I think, by 2 or so each month. By the end of the year, my revenue should be $770,000, I believe. Right. So that's where I am. Does that answer your question fully?
Yeah. So, and you're currently at about 12 consistently every month. And that's a milestone that a lot of lawyers want to get to. And just with those 12, you've got your client services director. Anybody else in your office?
No, I do have a contract paralegal that I bring in just for some overflow work, but that's all I have right now.
Got it. And your client services director is able to, you feel really confident, is able to support you to serve those 12 really well.
I do right now, but with the increase that I expect to have, again, that's a mindset shift. By about 2 months from now, I will be hiring probably another full-time person.
Okay, great. Now, let's talk about the technology that has supported you. So the first thing that I want to say about this is you actually do have somebody else in your office, kind of, and that's your husband, but really behind the scenes, right, with the technology. Tell us a little bit about that and his skill set.
Yeah, he is a programmer. He's a software developer. And he has his own full-time job, so he doesn't really, work in my firm. But whenever I need, so I have a website that was developed for me by someone else. But if I need a tweak to it, I'll just say, hey, babe, can you take a look at this real quick? And he can make the tweaks for me.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so then the main systems that I understand that you are using, and you wrote this out, so I'll just, speak to these, is you're using, first of all, MailChimp to manage your email list. And you are using Lead Pages for landing pages. So these are all software programs. Lead Pages would be like the page that advertises a free giveaway. And then when people put in their name and email address, they would come in and go into MailChimp. And then when you are running a webinar, you're using GoToWebinar for your webinars. And then when somebody watches a webinar or gets an email or sees you on social media and says, I want to book with Kim, there you are using Acuity for your online scheduling. And then for your case and relationship management, you're using Clio Manage and Clio Grow, and we'll talk more about those in a minute. Your website is built in WordPress, and you are using Meet Fireside to run your ads. So I just said a lot of technology, and which is why you can see that, Kim's got her husband to help her with these little things. It is exactly why we created Accelerator, by the way. Kim is not an Accelerator member. She's not using Accelerator. She's managing this tech stack. That's, by the way, the terminology for all the things I just said. If we were in a different world, not a lawyer world, but we can use it in our world. That's Kim's tech stack. And, as you can see, it's a stack of technologies that all work together so that Kim can post things on social media or run ads on social media or be networking and get people onto her email list and communicate with her email list regularly, and then use webinars to educate people so they book an appointment with her, and so that she can then serve them on, first of all, to deliver on their planning, and then to communicate with them on an ongoing basis regarding updates, perhaps even set up a membership, and Kim, you don't have your membership yet, right?
Next month. Yeah.
Woohoo! Great.
It's in the works.
Great. That is the next step. Yeah. So, all of the technologies I mentioned, I just wanted to touch on Clio Manage and Clio Grow for a minute for case and relationship management. Do Clio Manage and Clio Grow kick in once a client has engaged you, and everything that I mentioned before that, MailChimp and lead pages and GoToWebinar and all of that, is pre-engagement?
Sort of. For any contact with the firm, whether it's a message through Facebook or they register for a webinar, whatever touch they give us goes right into Grow. Mm-hmm. So we can keep track of every single person. And I know exactly where they come from. So we have it set up so we can keep track of the sources. So
and then how does that integrate with the MailChimp piece?
Yeah. So I use another program in my stack called Zapier, and it connects all of these programs together. You have to set it up, but it helps them all talk to each other. So it sort of starts like a domino. So if somebody is entered in MailChimp, say their first contact is through, they sign up for my email list. Then with a Zap, that's what Zapier calls it, then they get added to Grow as a new client. Same thing with webinars. My GoToWebinar is also hooked up with Zapier. So
got it.
Yeah.
And are you currently running time, date specific webinars each month, or are you doing an always on webinar structure where whenever somebody signs up, they can choose a time or watch right away? What is your structure for your webinars?
Yeah, I have both. I do have an always on webinar. It's a guardianship workshop. And then I also have a general estate planning webinar that is always on my website that I ask people to watch before they come meet with me for a family wealth planning session. But awesome. Otherwise, I've tried different things. I've tried automated where they can watch at a certain time or they can watch on demand. And I've just found that the most I've had the most success with live webinars. But I do them regularly. And that's just how I get, I think people like to be able to ask questions in real time, and it seems to work a little better for me.
How many do you do each month?
I do 4. So I do 1 each week.
4 live.
But 2 of them are only 20 minutes long, 15 to 20 minutes long. So it's really, it sounds like a lot of time investment, but it isn't as much as it sounds.
Because you're systematized at this point.
Absolutely. I just really show up, give the webinar, and then I move on with my day.
And so how far out, I'm curious, we're in February now, how far out do you have your dates already chosen for your live webinars?
The end of the year.
Yes, right.
So I do all my planning at the end of December. So everything is blocked out.
So I want you all to really hear this part that Kim has planned her entire year, and it's February. So what does that mean? I'm guessing, Kim, that means you have family wealth planning sessions scheduled out and blocked on your calendar for the entire year.
Yep.
To match your goals and the number of clients that you want to engage each month. And you've got your 2 20-minute webinars a month blocked on your calendar. You've got your 2 live webinars a month blocked on your calendar, the longer ones. You're going to do those no matter what because they're on your calendar. It's all already planned. Yeah.
Yes, I took about 3 days off at the end of December to plan my entire 2021. And I had my cash flow forecast with me when I was doing the time blocking.
Yeah.
So it all hooks up together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're thinking, oh, I've missed it for this year, whenever you're watching this, no, you haven't. You can start this at any time, and know that the sooner you start it, again, it's going to evolve and grow over time. So you start where you are, meet yourself where you are, even if that means that, next month it's just getting your family wealth planning sessions blocked out on your calendar. Mm-hmm. And that's it. And maybe getting time blocked out to record a webinar that you're going to have as your always on webinar. Note that Kim does have always on webinars too, right? So it's a both and. It's not an either or. Some of you, think, I'm just going to do one strategy, and that one strategy is going to do everything. And it's not. It's a layering, right? So Kim has her always on webinars, her guardianship webinar. And did you say that your healthcare? What's the other one?
Just the general estate planning.
General estate planning.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. And then you can layer in your live ones. Right? And maybe you don't even layer in live ones for another 6 months because you don't even have capacity to serve 12 new clients a month right now. You only have capacity for 4 to 6 because you don't even have a client services director. You have somebody part-time. So you meet yourself where you are. So let's talk about for a moment then the 4 webinars that you are doing. So you mentioned, and by the way, these are all new law business model style webinars. You have given the general estate planning presentation a different name. You call it Adulting 101. I love that. But it is the general, I love that. But it is the general estate planning presentation just with a different name. Mm-hmm. Then you have the Guardian Workshop. And when you say the Guardian Workshop, is that the 2-hour Naming Guardian Workshop, or what is that one?
It's a 1 hour, but I do use the NLBM slides.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And are they actually naming guardians in?
They are. When I give the webinar, of course, it was different in person, which I'm not doing now. But when I give the webinar, give them a disclaimer, and I show them how to fill out the form so that it will be done properly.
Yeah, and you do that live.
Yes.
Great. And then you have a healthcare directive presentation, the NLBM healthcare directive presentation.
I do that one every couple of months. I'll switch that one out with the shortened webinar. Yeah.
And then a shortened version of the general estate planning presentation that's only 15 minutes. What do you have time to do in 15 minutes?
I'm sorry, when do I have time?
What do you have time? Like what part of that do you have time for in a 15-minute presentation? Yeah,
I just took the slides. So I've gotten really good at paying attention when people ask things. So when people ask me questions during the extended version, I made notes of that in my head. So I just sort of cut back on some of the extra stuff in the 1 hour, and I just really laser focused on those sections that people had a lot more questions about. Mm-hmm. So I've been able to narrow it down that way.
Got it. Great. Okay, so now going back to, you also have time blocks on your calendar for participating in Facebook moms groups in your community, because your market is the young family community in your area. Mm-hmm. Calling back people who've shown interest in your services, calling referral sources to check in, and calling former clients just to see how they're doing. And those are time blocks on your calendar because you're using Monday hour 1 in addition to our time blocking strategy. You've layered in Monday hour 1, which is taught by a woman named Brooke Castillo of the Life Coach School. Have you also used the Life Coach School self-coaching program at all, or have you just picked up what you've picked up from their podcasts?
Actually, my coach, Jessica, recommended that I listen to that one podcast about
the Monday hour one. Uh-huh.
And it was a complete game changer as far as my productivity. Yeah. And so I started instituting it right away. But then otherwise, no, I haven't participated in any of the other formal programs, but I do listen to our podcast, and I think it's quite good.
So good. Anytime I'm feeling like a little bit of a mindset blah, I'll just go into the Life Coach School podcast, pick anything that seems like it speaks to me, and bam, shift. So it's a great way to get through those mindset blocks for sure. Okay. And then, so all of your systems talk to each other. So they do look just like what we teach with the client engagement system processes of intake and engagement and then serving your clients. So that's kind of the behind the scenes, right? Is, the tech stack, just it follows, you're using your own tech stack, but it follows all of the ways that we say to do things.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. And so, I just want to say another thing here about doing it yourself, the way that Kim has, versus having Accelerator do it for you. Our desire with Accelerator was to do it for those of you who don't have a software developer, systems engineer at home. And at what point do you believe that a lawyer, should make the investment in getting these systems set up, whether they invest the time, energy, attention, and money to do it themselves like you have, or to work with us in Accelerator and just say, here, do it for me? What needs to be true first in their practice, do you think?
I definitely think that the minute you open your practice, you should have something. That's so a checklist. So I started off with just a checklist, things that I realized that I was doing the same thing over and over and over again. I thought eventually I'm going to want to plug someone into this role, right? So I just started off with a checklist in Google Docs.
Yeah.
As soon as I realized that was becoming, that all of the things I was managing every day was becoming too cumbersome. And as soon as I learned the time blocking strategies here, I started adding things little by little. I would say by the time you reach about 4 clients, you should have something pretty robust in place at that point, because you're going to have a lot going on, not just for a month that you're bringing in, but then you have signings from the month before and all that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a really important point, because you didn't say by the time you reach 4 clients a month. It's really by the time you reach 4 clients.
Yeah.
So I think that that's really great. If you think about your first 4 clients as your opportunity to confirm to yourself, I'm committed. I'm doing this. Then, and you can engage the clients. And of course, if you don't have 100% engagement rate yet or close to that, you're going to get better and better at that. So you just establish, okay, this is my baseline. I could set my goals based on knowing that I'm going to engage pretty much everybody I meet with. Once I get it dialed in, this is what my average fee is going to be. You know what that is after 4 clients. And then you begin to make your investments based on where you want to be 2 to 3 months down the line, because you're always looking out at that and making the investments in the systems, whether you're doing it yourself or working with Accelerator to do it for you, based on that future reality of where you are going, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get there. And then whether you should do it yourself or have Accelerator do it for you, I think really depends on the type of person that you are and whether or not and the support that you have at home. Kim is so lucky to have the support that she has at home. And Kim, you seem just really technologically savvy. Is that
Definitely. I could open up a completely brand new program today. I've got my computer screen here. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And probably know how to use it by the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, that's how Bonnie is too, right? That's why she, is, running Accelerator for us, because, she did it all for her firm and then decided she wanted to help other lawyers with it. And so, that's how we came together to create this. And so if that's not you, don't try to do it yourself. Don't try to cobble together all of these different things that are just going to cost you time, energy, attention, and money, rather than, investing in having it done for you and then tweaking and upgrading from there. So I think this is something to talk with your coach about, right? If you're not sure, am I somebody who should do it myself? Talk to your coach. And remember this piece, which I think is so important. Remember this piece. You can always make more money, especially with a service that you love to deliver to clients who need it in your community. You cannot make more time, energy, and attention. Period. End of story. Once you use your time, energy, and attention, that's it. There's only one of you.